Well, it sure looks nice out here anyways. Minus 20 isn't very nice though. At least the sun is shining, nice and bright. Chickens are outside today, trying to take advantage of some of that sunshine. You guys? The weather has been all over the place the last few days. It was down to minus 30 for a few nights. Then we had highs of about minus 20 during the day for a few days. During that period of time, we had some massive snow squall events blow in off of Lake Superior. In just a couple days, it ended up dumping a couple feet of snow on the ground, which basically resulted in us finally having a wallopini. It was pretty cool. I guess it's kind of like having a wallopini now. Getting quite a bit of snow today. Yeah. Can't even keep up with the plowing. The wallopini was short-lived though, because it went up to plus 3 degrees and a lot of the snow sank right down, so it's not as deep as it was before. Well, let's have a peek in the greenhouse and I'll show you what I got going on for lights in here now. This morning I woke up and it was minus 25 degrees outside. About 3 or 4 degrees inside the greenhouse, so I came out. Got a nice fire started. Now we're at a balmy 35 degrees in the greenhouse. It's warm. You can see the lettuce has not changed much at all. Still quite stunted. I'm still letting it go just to see what happens, but pretty soon it's going to be time to pull it. The kale is enjoying these longer days. It's starting to put out a lot of new growth. It's also stretching a little. And I'm wondering if there's a possibility that this stuff is going to start to bolt soon. Not a problem if that's the case. You can always use more seeds. There's Caddis. She probably wants a kale bone. You want a kale bone? Dog loves her kale, that's for sure. Celery, still going nicely. We've been eating a lot of this, stir fries, pasta sauce, anywhere we can put it really. Celery is very important. I'm actually really hoping that this celery all bolts, goes to seed so that we can add to our seed stock because we are low on celery seed. That's one thing that we have not saved for a few years because we haven't let it go to flower. This is the little light fixture that I put together. Just got it running with a dangling power bar here. I'll clean this up eventually. And I've got it strung up just to a board on the ceiling so I can raise and lower this as needed. So the thing raises and lowers pretty easily. Just take the rope, pull it up. I have a little hook on the bed here so that I can just keep it up so I can work underneath here if I want to. So it's a total of 300 watts of LED lighting. Just very simple stuff, just shop lights. That's all it is. It's not particular grow lights or anything like that. Just your simple 48-inch, 4-foot shop light, 75 watts each. Not listed as a grow light. These are what we've used for years. They work awesome. Very simple light rack. 1x2, two 24-inch pieces, two 48-inch pieces. Stuck inside now. Okay, there we go. That's better. That will be our light rack right there. This old wire contraption. This is going to become what the light rack hangs from. this light rack anyways. So it'll be a little something like that. This rope will allow me to raise and lower the entire fixture all at once, so I'm not having to do that to every single lamp. Hooks to hang the lamps from. That sun came out and it is bright and it is hot in here. 24 degrees. Not complaining. On these bright sunny days like this, I just leave the light raised all the way up like that. Just let all of that natural sunlight in. There's no need to be running these lights during the daytime when the sun's shining like it is. On really overcast days, I will drop that light back down and just leave the lights on all day long just to keep those little seedlings getting all that light that they need. So once I had that light fixture put into place, I figured I best be getting some seeds started. So into this bed back here, I started some Swiss chard, I started some radish, and a nice mixture of salad greens, just lettuce and things like that. There's probably some romaine in there, there's probably some butter crunch, there's some purple lettuce. It's just a nice mix of seeds that we have from saving seeds. I plugged both the Swiss chard and the radish in just like ½ an inch down, and then I just kind of sprinkled the lettuce and other greens seeds across the top. Put a small, just a very minimal layer of potting soil on top. The potting soil is just your regular sort of ProMix mycorrhizal mixture. It's what I typically use to start seeds. The beds in here are all a pretty rich mixture of compost and old potting soil from previous years, leaf litter, some mulch, stuff like that. It's a very nutritious mixture that we put together. They're all really nice and deep, so there's a lot of nutrient in there. We also had some potatoes that had started to sprout in our potato bin in the house. So I chopped these up and kept just an eye or two on each little piece, let them dry out for a couple days, and I've now planted them in this bed. Just a little experiment, see if we can get some nice early new potatoes come early springtime when we start to fill this place up with all of our springtime seedlings. And now here we are a few days later, and we have sprouts. Sprouts everywhere, all through the bed. Soil temperature is sitting around what looks like about 17, 18, maybe 19 degrees Celsius. Very nice sprouting temperature for the soil. The radish coming up, another radish. These little guys are all lettuce. Won't know exactly which lettuce they are until they actually start growing, but that's okay. And over here in this bed, see the potatoes just kind of peeking out of the top of the soil here. Another one there. Starting to produce some leaves. A little bit bigger than when we planted, but not growing terribly fast, which I kind of expected. We'll have to see what happens with those. I put 8 of these chunks of potato in here all together. Prior to putting all of this reflectix stuff up on the back wall of the greenhouse here, I had a couple of nights where the alarms were going off with our wireless sensors. We have alarms set in the house so that if this greenhouse gets down to a certain temperature, we know from inside. Luckily, it was pretty early in the morning, so we were waking up anyways when the alarm went off. Came out, got the fire going, it was all right. But since installing this reflectix, the temperature has not set the alarms off in here at all. And I was actually worried that maybe the alarms weren't working, so I took a couple of the sensors outside. Within a couple minutes of being out there, bam, the alarm was going off. So this reflectix is doing what we want it to do. It's keeping it warmer in here. It's sealed off these little storm windows that we had on the back and just holding in a lot more heat. So now what I have to start doing is preparing for spring planting in here. That involves putting a shelf up here, across here, all the way across and over to here. That's going to give me 2 levels of growing area. I'll be starting things up on the shelf to start with because we still have food growing down here. Once we've pulled all of our food from down below, this will be a second area that we can start seeds on, all in trays, all in cell packs, which means I have the wonderful task now of going down and digging myself into the other greenhouse so that I can get our trays, our cell packs, and our pots out of there. Another thing that's key to keeping this greenhouse at a good temperature is this fan. This circulates the air and keeps the warm air moving. Here comes Amanda with the chicken water. Don't fall. Why? Tell you one thing, I am looking forward to getting this year's seeds planted.